Alright. Welcome back to Saving 88,000 Gold Coins into the World for My Retirement. Cough drop. Interview, episode 2. This one's selling from talking about 8 episodes because I watched like about 6 of these last night and I watched 2 today. Episode 3, right after Mira leaves the village from the last episode, she wants to go see a count and his family get basically passage to the Royal City, but they can't let her in because she's a stranger. So she feigns being injured and only gets to the mansion. And she gets inside and meets the family, which are made up of Iris, who is in fact she's quite interesting of a woman. You see, she is voiced by Alexis Tipton. Yes, believe it or not, Alexis Tipton voices a very beautiful woman. So let's see what I have here. I have that one here. Let's see. Yes, I've heard her in many different series before. I'm just trying to figure out what number she's on basically now. 27th. The last one I watched with her in it was The Wrong Way to Use Healing Magic. Yep. Yeah. And there's also, the members are Klaus, with no credit for his dub actor. He's in episodes 3, 5, 6, 9, 12. Yeah, he'll be in the next video, remember that. There's our beautiful daughter Beatrice, voiced by Errol Graham, who, get this, 13 is why I have a big chest. 13. There is the brothers. Alexis and Theodore. I mentioned Beatrice basically 13. Alexis is 17. His brother Theodore is 15. And Beatrice is 13. Yeah. So she's been yarning about basically how her family is, gone. The fact she left because of a succession crisis. So, she just sells stuff she has on her. A Swiss Army knife, a pocket knife, which she pulls out thinking she was skin, which apparently sort of offends her. And anything else? No, I just got change my door. I was like, I'll buy that. Nope. And the Beatrice basically comes to her and says, you swear open the store. Yeah, basically she won't open the store. And she does. She opens the store on the Capitol. At first, she doesn't know where to go, and then eventually she shows you how to file paperwork, got the building approved, and apparently took time to put solar panels on top. Now, I should point out, though, these are kind of like solar generators. I don't know what the heck these were recently. So, I'm actually quite surprised no one in this world knows what the heck solar panels are. So, look and say, oh, it's electricity all over the place. Like, you see on the wall, there's a light switch. She's got an electric digital clock. And she brings stuff that very cheap she can find at a convenience store. And she sells it for a pretty decent price. And her whole thing is to basically use the store to make money. Also, she has a consulting business on the side. Opens the store up, has first day, is like, yep, open. And then, after 3 days, at the past 2 days, 3 days of nobody coming in the entire day. Eventually, someone does come in. 3 women who work for a Viscount. Yes. And they're very skeptical about fish because fish takes a week to get there, and they realize this. So they buy some shampoo and try the shampoo in a bathroom with a shower head. Now I'm thinking, how the heck did she install this without anybody noticing? It's a question mark. There. Of course, she has the magic wand. Here's the elixir to wash your hair. Here's elixir for your body. And they buy it no problem with other stuff. And they show it. And of course, they get this jar of, get this, chocolate-covered almond. It tells them also, please be sure you remove the wrap first before you eat it. Which is a smart idea in that part. Shows the chef, this is really good. And then, eventually, excuse me, the family. If I can find the name of it. Amelia proceeds to kind of in a way hire her to work on her daughter's debut because food was so good that she, of course, they tried some food in her shop that she just made for them, but basically just put in some pot, like a mix per se, take a few minutes. Just try some fish, so she has to basically try some food. Don't ask where it came from. Just basically just taste it, and well, they have basically work on this presentation of this debut for her. And in the very next episode, we have debut. Oh, by the way, for her debut, she takes Adeline to get basically because she's not make dress, so she takes back to her own Earth. First time see her do this the whole series, but make sure puts on a blindfold on first. And she's a high level person, so and then she gets her measurements in and puts on this wonderful white dress she puts on like for the debut. There's also like a slideshow, of course. I think some moving pictures, whatever. So, and also she's having food, and people tend to basically worry about this food later on. How to duplicate this food called the Yamato Cuisine because basically Mur has a last name is Yamato. So, while this is going on, all by sheer coincidence, Iris just happened to be there, which she apparently was checking out her shop past few days since she's not even open, well, because she's helping this consultation. And, well, she kind of sees her as like another daughter to her. So, and of course, takes her back to her mansion to basically spend the night, because of course she does. And so this is so funny. So, like, right at this debut, things like so successful, like so good. And of course, Beatrice wants to do it for her too. It's like fine, but wait 2 years. Oh yeah, and by the way, her oldest brother was actually flirting with her during the actual ceremony. Yep. And also, basically, in the same episode, she got consoled to her with a brief scene, which is quite nice. And then we have, by the way, toward the end of the episode, this is quite interesting. So, a fugitive comes to her shop, takes one of her knives, and when the adventurers, which she saw back in episode 2, these mercenaries, who, by the way, there is Izzy Isel, who is an archer, who is voiced by Jad Saxton. Yep, Jad Saxton. In my 33rd series I've seen her in. Last one, believe it or not, was Spare Chronicles. Yep. And there's also Seven. Big bulky mercenary. Let's see if we can find who voices him. He's voiced by Aaron Campbell. Gray, who's the beautiful leader of the group, a red hair woman. She is voiced by Marcia Duran. And there's also Steep. He's voiced by Quentin Igo. Yeah, they're introduced at the end of episode 5, and then basically, well, actually, they introduced episode 6, and then by the next episode, they kind of introduce each other, and they kind of hire them, and of course, she can go shop it. Basically, job is just taking it with her on the next quest they go on. What she talks about supplies, which includes a very heavy crossbow, and carrying also a tent and insulation mat. Also, special cooking, and of course, while in their shop, they basically try. I think it was in the previous episode that it showed green tea, which is the Japanese cuisine, and black tea, or excuse me, like royal cream tea. So, yeah, and this is quite interesting. So, that's spent a day with him. Of course, she takes out a bear by shooting it with a freaking pistol, which she was taught how to do this in episode 2. So, after a day with them, she goes back, and then, like the very next day, a young, cute girl shows up in the shop, a 10-year-old girl. Her name is Sabine, and she's voiced by Sarah Winehoff. I'm like, hooray! Another Sarah Winehoff series. In the 36th series, I would love seeing her series. And here's the thing about her. She's always voicing girls or little girls who are cute, or big-breasted women. Yes, that's the thing with her. But she's always so funny. She shows up, buys some little kid stuff, including shampoo. And then, of course, basically, as soon as she leaves, then she's a very shady person. She follows them. And then she confronts them when these guys try to kidnap her. And then she proceeds to threaten them. And also shoot with a freaking taser. Yes, a taser. And then, of course, they try to get away like, oh crap, it's the road guards. By the way, this is in episode 8. So, the king thanks her, called much letting. And she also was looking at him, was like, you realize your vision's going, right? You have my vision? He's like, yes. Here, try these on. Reading glasses, you just happen to have them. And give it to him and the Chancellor, which I'll get to know that in a minute. This is so funny. Seeing an older gentleman, like a fancy world guy wearing glasses. Like, this does happen in some series, but not all of them. And he likes him. And the Chancellor's like, no, I can get a few more years, basically, with these glasses. I can't read the fine print anymore. So, and of course, basically, form a contract with her. And then, of course, like, they did their shop, and then we have this guy who's apparently the president of this very crooked company that they found out, who wants to buy her store from her. She's like, well, if I want to buy it, come back next day. And he's being a very shady individual. So, then later on, Sabine shows up. Apparently, she found out about DVDs. Of course, she wrote a letter, and of course, she also speaks. When you get back to palace, please give this to the Chancellor. And it comes back to try to find ways to basically buy the shop. And of course, I'll take her and the little girl, because she is not this little girl. It's actually the country's princess. And then, of course, basically, and then the Chancellor shows up. And he's like, what are you doing here? I was invited. Your permits are revoked for daring to sell the princess to human trafficking. So, he just hands the copy of his son and goes to hiding. And of course, later on, he still has, like, Chancellor wears the glasses, which I love the anime basically keeping that in, which is so funny. And then, like, the very next episode, where basically this woman comes in for a conversation over, apparently her restaurant's failing, and there's a rival restaurant who's trying to buy her, and also the guy is trying to woo her, and he can't take no for an answer. She, of course, brings in the mercenaries before, work as waitresses, a couple of them. Yeah, work security in the place. And, of course, eats a bit of special cuisine. By before this is so funny. Like, this chef from this baron shows up, and, well, because he was threatening her, go get in her cuisine, or she can't exactly sell fish, because she doesn't sell it. She just makes it back for conversation. There was another chef basically helping her out, and well, and this is he's actually quite nice to her about it. And then of course, basically, she uses the cuisine at the restaurant and becomes a big seller. So before the day starts, basically the guy buys the sous chef off. Then this is quite interesting. So then he shows the very next day. So I buy the restaurant again, of course, like, oh, tries Yamato food, and of course, everything else good. And then, just by sheer coincidence, Iris and her family show up, and the king shows up. I'm like, what the heck? Oh, by the way, also, Sabine was working as a waitress, but she really enjoyed doing that. Oh, yeah, and by the way, also, it's like, yeah, I have to find out the fact he actually, well, it's General Cuisine, of course, he recognizes right away. And of course, basically, the father, he has arm broken by ruffians. It's like, Royal Guard, could you also investigate who beat up this guy back here? I think it might be this guy and his goons. And then him, his son, and another associate are arrested on the spot. And also, the apprentice apparently is the one that basically the daughter of the restaurant's owner wants to marry. And she's a good matchmaking skill. She requests the king. And apparently the father has no problem with this at all. Which, of course, is quite nice. I mean, it's still overall a really fun episode. Yeah. I thoroughly enjoyed it for what it was. Oh, by the way, the king is voiced by Chris Guerrero. Yeah, he's like the only familiar male voice actor I came across here, which was so fun. Like to hear this guy's voice again. By the way, the restaurant is called Pebble in Paradise. And then, of course, the very next episode. And by the way, Colette basically seen preparing something where she misses her friend. And, of course, also his monster's coming, too. And then the king was invaded by another country. So, Denise basically held these forces off. And then, during the course of this, there's this guard that ends up basically trying to shoot at her. Actually, she tried to shoot at the War Council, because she's invited to that. And we have Theodore there, basically be, like, representing their father, because he's basically protecting his territory. And then, of course, the guard comes in, armed, tries to shoot him with a crossbow. Of course, she ducks from her, and of course, Theodore ducks from her. He gets shot. Of course, she gets wounded, but she's fine. But he's near death. So, then he takes her to her world to get treated. Because modern medicine basically can work well with arrows. And where's taking him to? The mercenary base, where in the previous episode, they had like a barbecue there. And of course, basically, she wanted to hire them to participate in this war fight against goblins. They think she's basically hallucinating, so she takes a Humvee and transfers that along with the other guy to the world, and eventually figure out, oh yeah, you are telling the truth. And of course, he fights goblins. Wants to work well. He even helps basically move a boulder to get this caravan through, but I can't get across the river because the water is flooding because it get rained. But she wanted to leave because basically her store is there, and this is her home. But overall, these 8 episodes are a lot of fun, and we have sadly 2 left, and then we're done with the series. Well, for now, until we do season 2. Yep. And when I get finished with this, I'm probably just gonna go ahead. At this point, after I finish those 2 episodes, I'll probably just go ahead and watch probably the final episode of Demon Lord Retry R. Okay? But you next video. Bye.